Okay, last week Charlie Alsheimer was talking about deer communication, about grunts and bleats and snorts and all sorts of sounds that deer make to communicate with each other. I should note that mouth calling predates all of us by a long shot. American Indians perfected mouth calling for whitetails out of sheer necessity. Although all American Indian tribesmen were expert deer callers, we are most familiar with the tactics of Ishi, who was the last member of the Yana tribe of California. As some of you might know, Ishi is the one who's been credited as being the one who taught Saxon Pope and Arthur Young how to bow hunt. Pope and Young later went on to draw national attention to this so-called forgotten and challenging form of hunting, especially in whitetail-rich states of the East, South, and Midwest. Of the two kinds of snorts that you'll hear in the woods, the most common one is the people call the blow, or it sounds like a whoosh. Sounds kind of like that's when a deer senses something is wrong in its environment and it's not quite sure what it is. That's why we also call this a curiosity sound. When a deer blows, it's not necessarily alarmed, but it's alert. And a lot of times after a deer blows, it will actually approach what it's become alerted to further investigate it. A deer snorts or blows by expelling the air in its lungs through a slightly open mouth. Now this is different than the second type of snort. The second type of snort is a danger alert sound, and that is also called a deer whistle. Now I'm not going to try this one for you because it's the high-pitched snort that you hear in the woods, and this is when a deer has either seen you and smelled you or heard you and smelled you, usually a combination of sight, hearing, and definitely smell. That sound that the deer makes is this high-pitched shriek, and that's going to alert all other deer in the area that there's danger forthcoming. A deer makes this sound by, again, a slightly open mouth, but when they expel the air from their lungs, it comes through their mouth and their nose, hence the reason why the sound is that much more high-pitched. A good trick that a veteran hunter once taught me is that if you're blown at and the deer can't see you and you can't see it, blow back at it. Do it with your mouth. What this does is a deer will think that it was just alarmed by another deer. It does work. It doesn't work all the time, but it will work sometimes to get that deer to calm down and resume its normal activity. The great American Indian bow hunters could not only call whitetails into bow range, they truly understood the whitetail's intricate language. That knowledge included a true understanding of what types of calls deer used at various times of the year. For example, during one of his hunts with Saxon Pope, Ishi demonstrated how fawn bleats stimulated maternal responses from adult does all the way into early autumn. While describing this in his hunting journals, Pope explained how Ishi plucked a leaf from a tree, folded it in half, and placed it between his thumbs. He then sucked air vigorously through his thumbs to create a lifelike and realistic fawn bleat, which attracted deer like crazy. This just goes to show that the more you know about deer behavior, the better you'll be at hunting them.